Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dirt Cheap Podcast. Thank you for joining. Hit it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Landon. You know, I got kicked somewhere and it hurt really bad. So now we're talking like this. Oh my word, I feel lightheaded. Just joking. It's Cinco de Mayo and I got a balloon. No, I don't. But yeah. Welcome back.
I do feel really lightheaded. But yeah, I'm back. I guess for good, sort of.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you hit puberty?
Yeah, I just slowly hit it. Not so slowly, just happens.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We can't do another take because I'm no more balloon.
So you can go buy another one.
Yeah. It's a $5 balloon. I can't get over that.
You gotta go to like Dollar Tree or something. Get them for $1. Wow. Well, yes. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your 5-star review. And thank you for going and leaving feedback on our Instagram page. You guys can find that link in the bio. We put it up last week, and we got already some. Well, today we put it up today, the day we're recording.
Yep.
Which is the day that it came out that we told you to go do this.
Mm-hmm.
I already have a few responses, so good stuff from you guys. We really appreciate it. Yeah, feel free to tell us. It's all anonymous, and we really appreciate anything you guys got for us.
Maybe we'll put it in this episode's bio, and we'll make sure it's in last week's episode's bio now.
Add that right now to last week. But speaking in terms of it's the day that you guys are listening to this, last week's episode was crazy on the day that it came out. You guys listened to it more than any video in the past for the most part. Mm-hmm. Kinda. Views were up.
Yeah, everything's going up. All because of you guys.
All because of you guys.
Good.
And your feedback really helps. We're not going to listen to it at all. We just wanted to see if you would actually fill it out.
Yeah.
No,
Anything you have to
We're
say,
doing the
we're not going to
opposite
listen.
of what you actually said.
We just want to know why you don't listen.
Come on.
We're kidding.
No, we'll talk this over with our CFO and see what he says, and we'll go from there. No, in all seriousness, we will evaluate and discuss and go from there.
Pivot.
Yeah.
Make necessary changes if need be. But yeah.
So Landon, it's your favorite holiday.
It is Cinco de Mayo. We got queso. I don't know where my other bag of chips went.
It's on the ground.
We just cleaned the table right before.
Munching on these on the border Mexican grill and cantina cafe style. These things are actually pretty good. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Get you some. Yum, get you some.
2 bags is for a big bag.
Yeah.
Big box for a big bag.
I told Landon to get salsa since I forgot
I was told to get chips.
And
then I'm on the way here and I get a text. Can you pick up salsa and queso? I said, bruh.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And then he pulled through and he brought hot
I got
salsa,
hot, mild, and medium, and then queso.
Yeah.
We're all prepared.
Yeah, you brought a lot of stuff. I was like,
for
jeez.
only 4 people.
I'm going to be eating it later.
Yeah.
That's going to be your lunches
Midnight
for the rest
snack.
of the week.
Midnight snack.
Just sneak a jar of queso into my room.
You probably would do
You're
that.
going to hear that chip crunch from his room.
The monster under my bed is going to hear.
That actually was kind of satisfying.
No, it's going to be tomorrow night at supper time, and you guys are going to be sitting around the table up at the house, and Ani's going to go, yeah, I was trying to sleep last night, and Landon was eating chips late at night so loud that I could not sleep.
Probably. Very accurate.
She probably wouldn't be able to hear him.
I'm just saying.
That's funny.
She probably didn't appreciate you saying that about her either.
It's like she listens.
Yeah, no.
She doesn't listen at all. That was a very good impression, though.
Janelle, comment if that was a good impression.
Accurate. She's going to say, yeah, that was pretty good.
Probably.
Thanks,
She
Janelle.
probably won't say that. That's funny.
Oh, man. So how's everybody's week going?
Oh, you know.
No, I don't. That's why
next.
I asked.
No, I'm just kidding. My week was fine. I was sitting at work today and then after work and then down here thinking about what I did last week. Nothing came to mind. Nothing. I guess like Saturday was my busiest day. I got my like front yard like all prettied up, but honestly, other than that, I didn't really do anything
Dutch
interesting. Dutch Fest was fine. It rained that day we were there. Did you go both days?
I did not.
Did you guys, any of you? No. Well,
was in
you
Virginia.
weren't. You were gone. You'll talk about Virginia in a few. But yeah, Dutch Fest was fun. It was at the Franklin County Fairgrounds this year instead of at Shalom, which is neat. But
Yeah, good time.
yeah, good pie.
Yeah. The strawberry
Peanut butter
pie.
Which pie was better?
The strawberry pie was
Peanut
really
butter pie.
The
good.
peanut butter pie
I
was
didn't
so
taste
good.
peanut butter pie,
Yep.
but
Did you try the strawberry one?
No. Why? The
So
peanut
we
butter
all
one's
only
already
had
superior.
one, so
Yeah.
we can't really make an honest.
yeah.
So take our word for it. They were
Everyone
both good.
says, like, they say it's good, but Brianna was saying that it's kind of just like, it's not really a pie. It's just the crust with like the filling. in it.
Jelly.
Yeah.
that's basically what it was.
No.
With
I
whipped
will-
cream on top.
I will say my grandma's peanut butter pie so much better. It just is because it's
You have to
Grandma.
say that.
it's grandma made it and it just. But the one from Shalom's Dutch Fest, that's up there. That's top 5.
Not bad. Not bad.
You still
I
have
like
the rest of it in the
the
fridge.
more of like a
Yeah, I
lick-
gotta eat
You
it.
didn't finish it all?
No, I ate half
It's
of it.
very, very sweet.
It's very
is it?
enriched. Like if I would have ate the whole
Yeah.
thing, I probably would have
Oh.
threw up.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You just
Sound
made
effect.
some poor soul throw up just by that.
I hope somebody gives us some feedback about our sound effects.
Yeah.
Which sound effects do you want to hear more of?
The chip clip or the chip clip, chip crunch, the vomiting sounds.
Is there sound effects that we don't have that you want to hear?
Put them in the
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's plenty of space for you guys to tell us what you want and don't want. So, yeah, the pie was very good.
It was.
I got a slice of strawberry pie, and it was late until I got home because I went to get gas on my way home. But and then it was like almost 10, and I just got ready for bed, crawled in bed with my piece of pie, ate my pie.
You ate your pie in bed.
Yeah, got up, brushed my teeth, went back to bed.
You're not
and-
afraid of mice in your room?
Pff, no, I'm not afraid of mice.
Wow.
I don't live on a farm, so I don't really have.
You don't have,
you don't have
any
to live on a
mice?
farm to have mice.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we had mice at my parents' house, but we had outdoor cats that roamed, so we didn't. Our neighbors had cats. We didn't really have mice problems. We used to,
Interesting.
pretty bad. We
We
also had
always have mice problems.
We have a lot of cats, but they don't do anything.
No, they don't.
That's
Because
wild.
mom feeds them.
Oh, no, I will say, like here, I guess I'm not really concerned about mice. Maybe down here, but honestly, I don't have any reason to be. At least I don't think. I mean, there's field mice. There's a big field out there, but
Yeah, that's why I was like,
did I tell the podcast about the time I caught the mouse at work?
No.
Did I tell any of you guys about that?
Never heard
No.
this
no
story.
idea.
I caught a mouse at work. That's
Wow.
all. That's
Oh, okay. Cool.
With your bare
Crazy.
hands?
not on my bare hands, no. But I'm sitting at my desk, so it wasn't even like in the shop or anything. I'm sitting at my desk, and I just hear Lisa, who's on the other side of the wall. She goes, "Oh my goodness, hello. What are you doing here?" And I was like, "What the heck's she doing?" She's a sweet lady. I roll out, and she's like looking at the ground. I was like, "What?" And I see this little mouse go scurrying by, and I was like, "Wow,
gosh,
would you look
that's
at that?"
terrifying.
So then,
Would you look at that?
Neither her or I were like freaked out by. We were like, "Oh, it's just a mouse. We just got to take care of it."
But yet,
And
a
so-
spider.
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I have called guys over to my desk to kill spiders on my
That's
desk.
crazy,
But
but-
I took care of the mouse because they were all like, "What do we do with it? What do we do?" And I was like, "Somebody
it.
hand me." We have like these shop towels, so I just like let him crawl into a shop towel, and then I carried him outside to the parking lot. Well, across the parking lot to the field, and then just launched him. Just kidding. I let him go nicely.
Launch them into the middle of the
Shocked
road.
him.
I thought about it. David and Goliath,
willingly
that John.
went into the towel?
Yeah, he like crawled onto it. It's like this really flat. It's almost like
The
a paper
mouse?
towel. Yeah, he crawled onto
They
it
usually
towards
run
me.
really fast.
No, I think he was sick.
Oh.
I think he was unwell because when I let him into the field, he just laid there and looked at me.
Oh, that's horrifying.
And I was like, "All right, buddy, it's okay. Run
Could have
free."
killed it.
Where's the hawk? Where's the hawk?
Yeah, I was like, he probably got
It's
eaten.
like that bird that Rashid just threw to the birds, the other ones, like or the whatever else
Lawn
was gonna
dart?
eat. He lawn darted that, John. It was laying
Oh,
there on
man.
its face. I feel so bad.
Speaking of mice, I remember when I was younger and was still helping out on the farm. I would go back to feed the heifers with Pap, and our feed bin back at our heifer barn, it always got mice in it. Like I don't know how they got in there, but they would just get in there in the feed. So you would flip the switch on and let it the auger would come and the feed would go down in the buckets. And every so often you would just hear boom, 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 just mice in there. So Pat,
my goodness.
Pat being the 80-year-old man he is, he would reach down in there barehanded, pick it up, look at it. He goes, "Hey, look at this! I got a mouse." I said, "Oh, cool." He could take his thumb, snap his neck, and just throw it in the door. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Dude." And he goes, "You just kind of got to get rid of them." I was like, "All right." And like you could hear the neck just snap, and
no,
it was it was insane. But I remember when I started doing it myself, and I got some mice, not like snapping the necks, but I wouldn't like torture them, but like I would mess with them. So like I pick them up by the tail and just start kind of like circling, just spinning them. And the one time I must have spun it too hard because the tail ripped off the body. And I'm just holding a tail, and I'm like, where did the end of this mouse go?
No, that's awful.
And then I just like, okay, just threw the tail in the manure. I don't know how the mouse. It might be alive without a tail.
When that
but
happened to me, I would always just let the feed go the whole way up, and then the mouse would just
jump
like
out.
overflow. Because there was
Yeah.
there's no way I was touching it. But then sometimes the mouse would go like where the cows were, and then the
Yeah.
cows would step on it, and then that'd be it.
I used to
But-
also
Yeah.
mess with our bull and just put a mouse on the bull, and like because the bull like we got it
Okay, mind you, the gate between Lennon and the bull is very like not protective. So that's
no,
really
yeah, it is. They can fit their head through. That's about it.
Yeah, but if he was really mad, he could definitely make that. You could definitely have
maybe,
damage to it.
but this was the bull that we had. Though it was nice enough that like
Oh.
I could pet its head,
Okay.
and it would just kind of stay there, and it actually liked it. But the one time I got a mouse, and I set it right on the bull's head, and let it go. I just see a thing run up the back of the bull, and the bull just starts shaking.
Oh my gosh.
And then it jumps out, and I don't know what happened to it then, but I don't know. Mice are fun to mess with, but
That's fine.
yeah.
You.
The one time I was getting ready for work the one morning. This is when I think we were engaged. I don't know, but I was living at home still. And I'm out in the laundry room, put my boots on, and I hear this. And I was like, so I look, and there was a mouse that got stuck in a bucket, and he couldn't get out. And I was like, okay. And so, all the cats are out there on the front porch early in the morning. So I go out there with the bucket. And some of them kind of like, move away. But there's this one cat, we called him Smokey. I was like, Smokey, look. And I set the bucket down and I start tilting it over. And I tilted it over just enough that he's able to go. Mm-hmm. When I tell you he went freaking wham into that thing, this is the
and Jerry
greatest
crap
thing
out
ever.
of.
I mean, the mouse was dead.
Oh my word.
I was like, this is awesome.
I mean, you expect that from like barn cats, like they're used to it. I've had a cat, like I set him, it was either a mouse or a pigeon. I can't remember which one, but it literally looked at it and the mouse just ran away and you just see the cat go and it looks back at me like,
Do your
what
job.
are you doing?
Idiot.
But, yeah. I used to
You're
do that
supposed
with,
to eat that.
I used to do that with pigeons. So like I would shoot pigeons with my BB gun and it wouldn't always kill them, but they would like, it would like hit their wing and they couldn't fly. So I'd just take them over to the cats and the cats would eat them. But we had one, like the pigeon just ran away from the cat. The cat didn't do anything about it.
That cat must be a vegan.
It was mom feeds them too much is what it is. She feeds them all the cat food and milk they want. So they're like fat and lazy. So they're defective cats.
That's fine.
I want a refund.
I don't like cats. Do not like cats.
All right.
Stinking cats.
I'm allergic too, so it's like
I want a
just don't want
dog.
them
I
around.
am
But they're quiet. I don't like that. You know who else is quiet? Burton. Believe it or not, he can make it upstairs and like sneak up on you. No, I'm not lying. If he comes up the stairs, like sometimes I work from home on Fridays, and I'll sit. I just put my desk upstairs, and so on Friday I'm like sitting there, and I'm facing like the wall where my window is. You guys have seen, where the door's behind me, and I have music playing. I'm like locked into working, and then I just feel this like on my back, and I was like, whoa. He scared me. He came up, didn't say a thing. Crazy little dog. Not even like hey, I'm up here.
I bet he didn't say a thing.
I know. How inconsiderate. He's kind of a rude roommate, if I have to be honest. All he does is bark and beg for food, make a mess, and then clean it up. Ugh, whatever. He's fine. Vanessa's like, please stop.
No, it's fine.
All right, what's next?
I don't know.
Do you have a story? What's your story? I want to hear it.
You got to tell it.
Yeah, come on. I want to hear it because you said it's really
You
funny.
set the stage.
But it might not be funny to other people.
Well,
you never
I'll
know
lie.
unless
Never
you
know.
try.
We have a laugh track.
a lot of my stories probably aren't funny. They're probably like, Grant, just stop.
So I was at Lowe's today finding plants
You were at Lowe's?
Oh my gosh.
You didn't tell me you were going to Lowe's?
because you probably would have told me to pick other things up.
Well, yeah.
So
All
I was
the
at-
Klein tools.
I was mainly
Somebody
just,
just bought golf balls.
I
so
was
he didn't
mainly
need to
just
go to Lowe's.
looking.
You keep your mouth shut.
I was just looking at the plants. I didn't really actually like go inside and look at anything else.
Oh, so you were like out in the garden
I was in the
area.
garden area. Yeah, I did go inside for like some like the house plants, but I didn't go like much
Well,
farther than that.
Did you like go in and then go out to the garden area, or were you just like outside the store, not even? Well, I guess you could go into the
Like
garden area
just go
without-
into the garden.
I went
area.
into the garden area and then I went inside the store.
Okay.
As well. Anyways, that's not really important where I
Okay.
was. But I was checking out and it was really, really busy because it wasn't raining and a lot of like retired people were there and
What time of the day was this?
it was probably like 11:30,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
11:45 because I had off school today, so it was like easy to just do it.
Did most schools have off school?
No, it was because of Dutch Fest. We had off on today.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyways, and I was in line. It was a really, really long line, and there's only like one cashier. Like I was outside at the garden center, so there's only one cashier out there, and it was a long line. And there was two ladies in front of me, and these two ladies didn't know each other. They didn't talk to each other or anything like that. Then we get up to we get up to like go to the register basically. And another worker said, "Oh, I can take someone here." And the lady right in front of me just butted right in front of the lady in front of her. And this lady in front of me was probably like 85. The lady in front of her was probably like 65, let's say. And so then this 85-year-old lady butted in front of this lady.
In front of the 60-year-old
In
lady.
front of the 60-year-old lady.
Okay.
And I was just a witness to all this. I didn't say anything.
Oh,
I
boy.
feel like I should have, but I didn't. And
You're just a fly on the wall.
I'm just having fun watching this all go down. And so this old lady, I don't really know what she was thinking, but she got in the line. Then the lady in front of her said, "Ma'am, what are you doing? You just butted right in front of me." And the older lady's like looked confused, like she didn't know what happened. And then the old lady said, "Well, you were confused and you didn't know what line to go in, so I just went in this line because I need to get home." And and I didn't hear quite what the 60-year-old lady was saying to this lady, but she was basically arguing with her, saying that she needs to go in front of her. And then the lady tried to go in front of this lady. And then the old lady's like, no. And then the 60-year-old lady was still arguing. And I was like, "Lady, like you're the next one in line. It's perfectly fine.
You're literally fine.
You are almost there." And then they kept arguing. And then the 90-year-old lady said, "I beg your finest pardon, ma'am." and then the 6-year-old lady said something else. But I was like, "Who says I beg your finest pardon?" But anyways, it was hilarious because that was her like way of saying, "I beg your finest pardon," of saying like, "Sorry, but I ain't moving." Yeah. And then
I thought too we said we were going to watch our language on this podcast.
Yeah.
I
This
beg
is
your
language from
finest
others.
pardon?
No, I know. I'm just making a joke. That's funny.
See, if I was you, not to cut you off, if I was you and I heard that, I would like, excuse me, can you translate that for me, please?
I'm sorry, I don't speak 1800s.
Yeah.
No.
She's just been like, "No, that's not my finest one."
And then she said something else that was really, really old, like old lady-ish too, but I'm blanking right now what she said. But that was hilarious when she said that. And then she, like the lady in front, like the lady in front of the 6-year-old lady. So there's like three.
So the one that was currently getting checked out?
Yes.
Okay.
She was like, "Hey, you could just she said this to the 90-year-old lady. Hey, you can just go in front of me. This lady was trying to like make peace with the 60-year-old lady and the 85-year-old lady. But
Okay.
the 85-year-old lady was like, no, I'll just stay here. And so the 60-year-old.
At the other register.
Yeah, the other register. And
heck?
so then eventually the 60-year-old lady got rang up and she was like being kind of rude to the work at the cashier lady. And I was like, you don't have to be rude. Like, it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you might be annoyed that the line's long, but you don't need to do that. Like, it's not her fault.
Right.
And then that lady left. Then I got checked out. And then the 85-year-old lady was still in line. Like, she was at the checkout. I'm not really sure what she was doing there. And all she had was one big flower pot. So I'm like, I'm not sure what the issue here is, but I think they're just both having bad days. And
I beg your pardon. It's party.
yeah, that
It would've been
was hilarious when she said that.
It would have been so hard for me not to say as I walked out to the 85-year-old, just like not looking at her, but just like saying it out loud. I thought you had to be in a hurry to get home.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what was
I
happening.
have places to be.
I
And
gotta
it
get
was,
home and sit on my Davenport.
it was kind of humid, so I'm like, the weather is probably just making these people go crazy. But
Probably.
people are serious about their plants, and
This is
they will
true.
do anything to help them, I guess. So,
Yeah.
yeah, old lady issues.
That's one thing, like, I don't know. It doesn't make me mad, but it's just like when I see people like get mad at a cashier for like
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like they don't run the store. They're not in charge. They're like
Yeah.
17. Like, and then you got these like 70-year-old people just, I just like, and like people are just looking at them like, I just work here, man.
Yeah.
It's like just be nice to people. You know, kindness is something this world kind of lacks. So be nice.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't really want to get in the middle. Like, I could have said, like, it's fine. Like, I was like, I'm not getting in the middle of that because I feel like I might get yelled at. If
Hit
I
her
say
with your
something.
cane.
She didn't have a cane. She
Hold
actually
on,
looked
I'm
hold
live
on.
this.
well.
Do it. Wait, say that again.
I missed it. Sorry.
Hit her again. I missed it.
Oh my gosh.
And action.
But I think the old lady was playing like the old lady card.
Yeah.
Like, I'm older, so I get to go for. I don't
Some of
even know.
them do that. Some of them really
See,
play up
I
to
can't
that.
wait to be old and like
Senile.
senile and like just use
I think
the
she
death
just-
card
Oh.
where it's like you just do whatever you want and it's just like, what'd you say? And people are like, oh, it's okay.
I think
Thank you.
I think the lady just really did not care what the other lady had to say.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, they just don't care at that point, which I guess I understand. But
That's
I feel like that was our great grandma though. Somewhat.
well, she wasn't really allowed to go out by
That's
herself.
true. Our great grandma was a legend.
She was 99.
She was a savage.
Dang.
She would get KFC a lot. She loved KFC.
Yeah, that was her favorite restaurant.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. And the one day, I think Pap was telling me, she was getting into the nursing home van because all the ladies would go get their hair done. And she was getting back in the van. She must have like hit her leg on, like, you ever seen the latch on a van? It's like that little
Oh,
yeah.
sheep thing.
That
She must have
hurts.
hit her leg off of that and it started really bleeding. And the first thing she said, well, I got blood on my shoes. I need new shoes. Can go take me shoe shopping.
Yes.
So he goes, I had to take her shoe shopping.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that one.
Great way to get new shoes.
Minor inconvenience. I need new shoes.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
You know, not to get like changing the mood, but your great grandma actually has I guess like a part in a way in like our story. So like whenever we were first talking,
Oh.
like the first time, and we were gonna hang out, you said, "Sorry, I can't hang out. My great grandma passed away." And I don't know if you said you had the funeral or something, but you said she had passed away, so you weren't able to hang out. And so I was like bummed. And I was kind of like, okay, is she telling the truth or is she lying? Like, is this just another one of those? And one of my old friends at the time,
I
Nick,
should have sent him the obituary. Like, bro, I'm not lying.
Here's the receipt.
She has a lot of great grandparents that have been dying recently. I don't know why.
well, but
Sorry.
the thing is, like, one of my old friends, we were on our way to a race, and I was telling my friend Nick about it. And he was like, so who's this girl? And I was like, Danessa Myers. And he's like, oh, dude, I went to high school with her. She's not lying to you. She's definitely 100% telling the truth. I was like, all right. Sure enough.
Dang, that's funny.
But One of the few times.
Not funny. That's not really funny. Sorry, I'm not laughing.
Funny.
One of the few times the wrong crowd I was with told the truth.
Yeah.
I guess if that makes sense.
Pointed you in the right direction.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot better
Yeah. Steered you in the right way.
for
Yeah.
that very short
Sure.
minute.
Window, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The rest of it
minimal.
was just like
Conversation.
The rest of it was the wrong way. I was going the wrong way down a one way.
one
Yeah.
time I did that. Went down the wrong way on a one way.
How'd that go?
I've done that.
Yeah, it was not good. I wasn't driving. I was just in the car. We were in Baltimore.
Ooh.
That's the end of that. So we were in a
Yeah.
12-person van down there for a winter conference with crew, and yeah, great times. We didn't. There was like nobody else on the road though, so like somehow.
I went on the off exit to get on 81 once.
I did that.
Wayne Avenue.
Oh yeah.
You know how it's like,
Yeah.
it's the off exit is the first one and then the on is the second one, I think.
Depending which way you're going.
Yeah,
If
and
you're
it's
going
like right
south?
beside each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I was with my buddy Garrett, and he was like, "Oh, here's the on ramp. Just get on there and get it." I think we're going back to Greencastle. And I was like, "All right, cool. Turn on." He goes, "This is the off ramp." I said, "Oh," but thankfully it was just a concrete like curb.
Yeah.
I just went right over top of it, and I was lucky because a big truck was coming. And he goes, "Dude," I said, "Don't tell your parents about this one." He goes, "I won't."
That's so funny.
But now he's telling the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you just tell the podcast. This is a very like, don't tell your parents, but tell the podcast.
Tell everybody else, but don't tell anybody else, you know?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
One time I was coming home from, I don't know where I was coming home from, but I was coming down 81 South, and I was going to, I usually get off the second exit to go to my parents' house. But once I passed the first exit, there was like a traffic backup, and I had gone, it was like, I was under the bridge, and I had just passed the off ramp. And so I couldn't get off, and it was stuck from like that exit to like the next one. So I'm like, I'm going to be stuck here for like 7 miles. So I'm stuck under the bridge, not even to like the on ramp yet, moving very slowly. But I
Like,
decided,
you're talking like, when you say the bridge, like, you're talking like,
where Rudders is, the new Rudders,
okay, that bridge.
Rudders in Sunoco.
Oh, you're stuck under that bridge.
Yeah. So like the off ramps here, and then you get on the other side.
Oh, so you were heading south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I was heading south. I was coming from, yeah. Anyways,
Heading south.
yeah. So I'm just under the bridge. I'm like almost up to the on ramp, and I decide that I'm just going to get off the on ramp. So I whip a 180 and I just go up the on ramp, and I'm like, people are going to still be like getting on. So I'm like, I can't, like, there's no light at the top of this hill, at the top of the hill, because there's no traffic that comes out that direction. So I got to the top, and everyone's like, so I was like, thank you, I'm going this way. And I just like turned off the bridge. Like, no one really questioned it because of the traffic.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
I think someone followed me too. So that made it even better.
Yeah.
But I did pass a car that was like getting on the highway, and I was like,
Yeah, did you see him
don't
looking?
mind me.
I got the what? It is the on ramp?
But I'm like, why would anybody be getting on if you can see the traffic's all the way
Yeah.
back
And
up?
some people
So-
are just like,
Yeah.
let me just get on, and all this traffic's like, okay,
yeah,
go knock
out of
yourself
state
out.
or something. Anyways, yeah, funny time. Don't take the wrong.
Use the Cowboy Lane every so often.
Yeah.
We were going up to, it was me, Keith, and Garrett. We were going up to the rodeo up at the farm show. And that night, traffic was backed up to go up to the farm show. We were getting off. We were on the off ramp, and it was backed up there. Funny story. We were stuck in traffic, and there was this car beside us that came up beside us, and I don't know what possessed me, but they rolled their window down, and I rolled my window down, and I was waving to them. They were waving back. The dude held up his vape. I said, no. And then I just started playing rock, paper, scissors with him.
Oh my word!
And we were just like, they threw something at me, and we were playing catch between our cars, and then like their lane went to go, and ours was still back, like behind. So I was like, oh well,
Goodbye, friend.
yeah, goodbye, friend. And then the main part I was gonna say was we're sitting there, and we just hear this diesel dually Ram just goes up the side road
On the shoulder?
Yeah, on the shoulder, just goes, and then he
my
merges
word.
in like someone let him in. I'm like,
I hate that.
That I was like, I was like, I want to do that. I'm like, dang, it's not the fact that they let him in. It's just like, why didn't I think of that? It's like, why am I? It's like that moral. It's like, I know it's wrong, but why can't I do that? But no, the funny part was, then when we were walking in, we just hear someone say, "Hey, you want to continue catch?" And I looked over, and it was the people in the traffic.
No
and we're
way.
like, no way.
That's
and so
funny.
we started talking, and then we went to sit in our seats for the radio. And we see them coming up. We're like, no way they sit beside us. Their seats were right beside us. I was like,
my
oh my
word.
word. This is
Small
so
world.
weird.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. We're like, no way. And
You
they're
wanna do
like,
bunk
yeah,
beds in
these
the
are our
garage?
seats. And we're like, that's crazy.
Sorry, stepbrothers.
Yeah. That was a weird experience because we were like, this is weird. This is crazy. But
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So speaking of your wrong way on ramp, we were at the bank one time a couple months ago on Radio Hill. You know how it's like there's like a little strip of grass that separates the bank and Wise, and so like if you like go through the ATM, you like got to go out to the road,
Yeah.
go down, then come back in. We were gonna go to Wise, and I'm just like, just go right over this little patch of grass, and then that's just like, don't you dare do that. I'm like, why? It's literally just right here. Then instead of us having to go out all the way on the road, she's like, Grant, don't you do it. Do not do
I
it.
do not talk like that.
I'm trying to just make it more exciting. You're like, Grant, do not do that. And I was like, no, it's fine. She's like, Grant, no. And then I went boop, right over it. She's like, Grant.
I bet there was a Grant Jacob in there.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think there
That's
was,
surprising.
no.
That's
I hear
funny.
that a lot.
She was not happy, but I was like, what? It's just grass.
I drove us being my coworkers and I to Vinny's the other night for lunch. And you know how like the front, you guys ever park at Vinny's, there's no like curbs.
Yeah.
Vinny's on 11. There's no curbs on the parking spots that are closest to 11. And so there's just grass. And I pulled up right there and they're like, just go straight. And I'm like, I can't do it. So I threw it in reverse, went around the grass. Like literally it was like I was pulling into the parking spot next to me,
Yeah.
backed out, pulled out, and then just like went around. Like, dang it, I should have just done it. Like no one was going to say anything.
How long are your lunch breaks?
We get an hour on Thursdays.
Okay, I was going to say, Vinny's is far.
It's like a
From-
10-ish minute drive.
Really? I guess just up
No.
11.
We take 81.
Really?
Oh, if you take 81, then yeah, it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you take 11, it's at least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta go through Greencastle and then come back up.
Yeah,
just get
I
off of
don't
Marion
like
there.
taking 11 that direction. That stretch of 11 is just.
I speed so much on that stretch.
Ugh. But yeah, we'll either go to Vinny's, we'll go to Casa Agave, we'll go to Brothers, we'll go to Waynesburger. A lot of good places, but
It's raining.
yeah, it's all places within 15-ish minutes.
You only get an hour on Thursdays.
Yeah,
I get an hour every day.
so that's
Guess
special
what?
of you.
I don't get a lunch break.
Guess what? I just take an hour.
Sorry, Vanessa.
I just take an hour.
Ours, so our handbook says up 30 minutes up to an hour. So I say, okay, so I'm taking an hour. 'Cause I really don't want to go back to work. But like when I was on job sites, I would take like a half an hour lunch, just because I like doing that. But now I'm at the shop and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm taking an hour lunch. So I'll go. I like going into branded meats. But I forgot to bring it in. I got cookies today, and I was going to bring them in for you.
You got Auntie Marlene's cookies?
I got the monster cookies, the M&Ms, and
Oh,
everything.
you have
those
Auntie
are so
Marlene.
good.
I can't have
Oh,
My mom's gonna comment at this part and be like, he had Auntie Marlene's cookies.
dude, I love their cookies so much. The cookies, the whoopie pies. Oh, I love it. I go there every Monday. I go to the bank and then go to Branded.
Wow.
Their chicken dip is the best. That's my hot take for today. Nothing will ever beat Branded's chicken dip.
I don't think I've had that chicken dip.
It's better than Chick-fil-A sauce.
That's so awkward.
That is.
I was checking our
Please
episode
stop.
this past week. But
Cindy's trying to give us an extra view.
Yeah.
hey guys,
the views up.
if you don't listen, that means I have to listen 14,000 more times.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
Um,
And whoever our one subscriber was that left us, you will be missed.
Please come back.
Yeah.
We miss you.
You can
Come
come
back.
back.
fill out the feedback and see if next week's any different.
Yeah.
Love you. Anyways.
Love you long time.
Grant, you want to talk about your weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost died.
That's great.
Me too.
Like, literally about threw up
Oh.
after the workout.
Oh.
Was there like a big workout there too?
Dude, massive workout.
Really?
So I went down to the Men's Alliance National Rally at Pocahontas State Park in Virginia, and dude, it was like a whole nother state down there.
So
Well,
that's kind of
really?
what Virginia is compared to
Oh my
Pennsylvania.
gosh.
Crazy.
So I was talking with, so I rode down with, I'll just refer to him as their call signs, Pappy and Driver.
Did driver drive?
No, he did not.
That's really upsetting. Why?
Pappy drove. Anyways, and let me tell you, Pappy did not drive like a Pappy. Just saying. So anyways, we get down there and Pace and Trails are coming down later because they were in the Barbarian games. And I'm talking to them on the phone and they're like, what's it like? And I was like, I don't know how, I was just like, yeah, I mean, this is pretty massive down here. They're like, it's like a whole other state down here. They just laugh. Like, I didn't hear myself say it right away and catch it until right after the fact. And they're like, well, yeah, really?
Really?
A good one.
Oh my gosh.
He goes, I'm serious.
Yeah. No, but when I say that freaking state park is like ginormous, like you could probably fit at least 5 Caledonias inside that park. Like you had to drive to everything.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Men's Alliance National Rally. It was the first one they ever did. I'll say it was good. I was disappointed because of the fact the park was so big. You were like so spread out. Like we stayed in some cabins and it was just like some PA guys. And then there was like another set of cabins close by for another group of guys, but like we didn't like mingle together. And there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. But then like the next set of cabins or camping areas, I could not tell you where they were. They were at least driving. They were not at least. They were driving distance. So that was like the downfall. It wasn't like everyone was like packed together. You could easily like walk around and talk to whoever unless you were like up in the main areas. But there were some good speakers. I didn't listen to Goose and Ben Shaw speak because they had the first ever National Alt Tribe, so that means there was a workout and a devo, and that was the first one. And there was like this massive hill at the amphitheater. I mean, like a massive hill. And so it was like, burpee broad jump up, come back down, then do like 27 sit-ups, 17 push-ups, and then like bear crawl up the hill, then come back down, do 27 of something else, 17 of something else, and then you did a partner carry up. Pace carried me up the whole way. And then you come back down, 27, 17 of something else, and then it was this, like you had to push your partner up the hill, and they would like resist. Let me tell you, I think that was like my breaking point.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, when I tell you that was my breaking point, I think that was, because then like after I'm like, I'm like modifying big time at this point, so I'm like barely moving. And so I think I put too much ice in my water before we went down for the workout. So like it was like ice cold water.
Yeah.
I mean like ice cold. Okay, it wasn't like warm room temperature like it should be if you want to get hydrated really quick.
Right.
And so we're done, and I was like taking some sips during the workout, but then like we got done, I'm drinking it, I'm sitting there. I didn't have anything to eat before the workout except a bag of chips, like a little thing of Doritos.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
Pre-workout.
I'm sitting there and like I feel my stomach kind of just hurting, and I'm like still like kind of like half breathing heavy. I'm like, and I'm like
Okay.
sitting there. I'm like leaning up. Then I kind of sit back, and then I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my gosh.
So I get up and I start walking over to the restroom. And for reference, Pappy, Pappy is J.R. Wells. And if you don't know who J.R. Wells is in our area, he and his wife used to run King's Kettle in Shippensburg for the longest time. They don't do it anymore.
Okay.
But anyways, so Pappy is a part of Men's Alliance now, and he is always handing out these bracelets or these trinkets, whatever, making sure everybody gets them. And So I'm walking past Pappy, and he's like handing out these bracelets during the Devo because his bracelets actually ended up correlating to what the guy shared for the Devo, for putting on the armor of God. And so I'm walking past him. My head's down. I'm like, I can't talk. Like, if I say a word, I think I'm just going to right out. Because that's just how bad I felt. And
Oh my goodness.
I have my head down, and I see him, so I'm just keeping my head down. I'm like, just keep moving. And he sees me, and he goes, "Youngin, did you get one?" And I'm just like, thumbs up, just kept walking.
That was thunder.
That sounds awful.
Oh, yeah, it is thunder.
Holy cow.
I like heard my breathing. I was like, is my breathing sound like that? I was
is
like,
Bert running around upstairs? I wonder if you could hear it.
It sounds
I can hear it in my
It sounds like
headphones.
elephants upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
so.
Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Anyways, so, Pappy asked me if I got one of the bands as I'm like going to throw up. And I'm just like, head down, thumbs up. Couldn't even say a word. I get into the bathroom, get into the stall. I'm squatted down. I'm like, it's going to come.
Grant,
Thank you.
stop.
This is the line.
Just listen. Just listen.
Almost there.
You don't
yeah.
need to describe it.
I'm sitting there and like my arm is like tingling. I'm like, this is like not good. I'm like, am I like getting a heat stroke or something? Nothing happened. So I'm like, crap. I was like, I can't drink my water because like it's just like too cold. Like I can't.
You can't take the ice out of it.
No, I don't think. I think it was already like melted in somewhat.
Oh.
Because like isn't it like if your water's too cold, it takes a lot more energy to then like whatever. So I think that was my problem. So then I just go over to the sink because nothing happened. So I get up, I go over to the sink and I just splash my face with water, and it like fixed everything. Because then it like I was able to cool down then finally.
Yeah.
Because like I was like hot and shaking. So then I go back out and I just like kind of kneel back down, and Pappy comes back over and he's like, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "About that." So then we go back, and driver took like his whole like camp chef stuff set up. So I mean, he cooked some food, amazing food. Like Friday night, he did like peppers and onions on the grill, like sauteed them up with like sausages and hot dogs. So then for breakfast, he did a bunch of eggs and bacon. I kid you not, I probably had like 5 eggs and like 7 strips of bacon.
Rookie numbers.
For me, that's a lot. Like if you would have looked at my plate and been like, "You ate that all?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I ate that all," because I was hungry.
That's funny.
So
I don't blame you though.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
so loud.
That's storming again.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't lose power. That it cuts our recording short. So we'll
I will
find
say-
out.
yeah, we'll
I think
figure
this
it
has
out.
batteries in it, so if it cuts out and we just go just to audio, it's because we have a storm rolling through right now as we record.
Didn't
but
it die one time and it kept going?
It did, but I don't know if the camera will keep working. I mean, the screen will go
Oh.
black. That'll keep going, and I think this has batteries in it.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
just
figure it
bear
out.
with us if that happens. There's a storm rolling through
You guys
right now.
ready to play the
can-
game?
Yeah.
Well, I was still going to keep
oh.
going quick.
Oh, sorry. Keep going. I didn't realize.
Yeah. So that was my story about dying from the workout. But the speakers they had,
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't hear Goose and Ben Shaw just because the time we spent back eating breakfast. So then we went down. They had Greg Kokel and Stephen Mansfield then come speak in the afternoon. Greg Kokel wrote a book called Tactics, and that is, I haven't read the book yet, but we're going through it in a small group right now.
okay,
It's
yeah.
really good. It's about basically learning how to defend your faith. It's Christian apologetics. So like knowing how to defend your faith, or like, yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. How to defend your faith, explain why you're a Christian, and just kind of tactically do it. Because that is also an important part. Like we think we need to spread the gospel, but that's not the best way to do it to everybody, because someone could be a pastor's kid who the pastor is no longer a pastor and they're into drugs and alcohol and they had a really bad falling out with the church, so they're not at all into God or anything anymore. So like if you try and preach the gospel to them, they're going to be like, "Dude, shut up." So it basically is like how to tactically talk to people. And the way Greg Kokel said it was, he said, so his speech, I guess, or his time speaking, was basically the first session video we watched. And so he said in the video, he said it while he was speaking, he said his goal is not to evangelize. His goal is not to spread the gospel. He said, quote, he is a planter. because there's a season of planting and a season of harvest, I think is how he called it. And so he has discovered that he is the one that is going to put the stone in your shoe. So he explained, just using a simple question to kind of ask people to get more information out of them, but then also it kind of makes them explain their thinking, and then by them explaining their thinking and you but just asking questions, it might make them think, oh, that does sound off. What? And then they go and research on their own. So he was good to listen to. It was good to hear that in person. And then Stephen Mansfield has a book called Band of Brothers, or Gathering, or Creating Your Band of Brothers, or something like that. And like his key takeaway, or at least that I have from that, was he said, I have like 4 to 5 guys that when I'm out of town, they call my wife and ask how she's doing, how we are doing. He said, end quote, they can ask my wife anything, but he said, sex and money are off the list. But
Obviously.
he said it's really good to have like a group of guys, because he said, like, I have a group of guys, that it's like, if I'm out of town speaking somewhere or whatever, and there's a problem at my house, I have a couple guys I can trust that will go over, to the house and help my wife out, and they'll handle it responsibly. They'll be respectful and whatever, and, help out. And he said it's really important to have that. And that was kind of like, it was definitely eye-opening. Because he said, I forget the correct term he said, but, like, you have friends that are, like, in a different state and hours away. He's like, some people say that's their best friends. He's like, that's not your best friend, because guess what? You can't call them at 3 a.m. or whatever and be like, hey, I need you to come over. I need some help, Because guess what? They're not. Like,
Yeah.
they're good to have as a friend, but they're not like your best true friend, if that makes sense in a way, because they're not there in the same area
Yeah.
to be able to help at the drop of a call or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, he has a book called Band of Brothers or something. I forget what it's called fully, but maybe we could link that if we decide to. But yeah, I liked Mansfield a lot more than Coco, just because, like I said, I heard what Coco said already. It was nice to hear it in person, but
Sure.
I liked what Mansfield said.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we went back, ate supper, and then I came home Saturday night, because I thought about staying Sunday, but I didn't. I came home Saturday night, and yeah, had a good time. Like I said,
That's good.
I wish it was at a different state park, because I just didn't like how spread out it was. Like, I kind of wish it was at something like similar to like Roxbury Camp, but like it's big. You
all
have a
in
couple
one
big
place.
fields, but like it's easy to like walk around and like talk to everybody.
Sure.
So that was like the thing I just didn't like the most, because like I only met like 2 new guys really, and it was just like very short conversations.
Well, you weren't there very long either, so it wasn't really.
Yeah, and like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of downtime, which that was
Yeah.
like it was their first ever one, and they were like, "This is our first one. We're learning how." They're learning as they go. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Trial and
yeah,
error.
History in the making.
yeah.
You can say I was there when.
I was there for the first ever one.
I was there when this thing sucked. And now it's great, thanks to me.
Started.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That's cool though. Being there for the beginning of something like that is really neat.
Yeah.
Kind of like you guys who have been here since day one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of day one, we're gonna play a game.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how that applies.
Nice,
but
nice.
we're just gonna do
Works
that.
out.
Playing games since day one.
Yeah, we have been. Different games. That is one of our questions on the feedback, is which are your favorite games that we've done or that we are doing, or what, if you come up with a game, tell us what it is. That would be great as well.
Pictionary.
Okay, Landon's going to the game next week. It's going to be Pictionary. You must watch, or else you'll just be listening to us talking
I
about
never
pictures.
actually volunteered for that.
Kind of did.
No.
All right, so we're doing trivia style. Like, sorry, were you done?
No, yeah, I was. That
Okay.
was it.
I was like, hang on a second. I have a bad habit of doing that.
That was it.
Okay, good. That was good. Thank you for sharing that.
Wait, I had one more thing. I'm kidding.
Okay. I was like, oh, my bad. So we're doing trivia like Damon did last week, where he had 5 random questions about random things. I don't think I'm the right person to do this, because some things, I will say, I don't really think I would know any of these really off the top of my head. Maybe one of them. but they're mostly just guessing questions. So this is going to be a whoever's close kind of thing. Most of them are numbers. 3 of them are numbers. One's a Bible. One's just a random fact.
boy.
All right. So since today is Cinco de Mayo,
The day we're recording.
the day we're recording. What year was the first Cinco de Mayo? I can do
Like
year.
non-American.
Like what day did what day did it happen? Like was Mexico's Independence Day?
Are you looking for a year?
Yeah, a year or do a year. I was gonna say or how many years since. We're gonna do this like Damon did last week, where you have question 1. We're gonna answer all
okay.
these, so you can. Yeah. So that was number what?
Let me write
Oh my gosh, excuse me. Landon's like, my
Switch
bad.
to 24 font, not 72.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, there's 5 questions. All right, number 2.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Write faster.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Number 2 is how many stars make up the Big Dipper? How many stars make up the Big Dipper? This is like one of the most popular constellations, I feel like. One of the more popular ones. Do you guys know any other ones? Like, can you pick out any other? Can you pick out the Big Dipper?
Yeah.
And the Little Dipper.
And
Sometimes the
one?
little.
Sometimes I don't think I can pick up the little one.
It's very hard.
Is it really small?
Yeah,
And like a
and it's like
cluster?
really faint.
Oh, okay, never mind then. There's this like cluster of stars that looks like the Dipper, but it's not, and it's like small. But yeah, no, never really seen the Little Dipper. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, how many time zones are there? How many time zones are there
In the United States?
in the world?
Oh.
Total time zones.
Okay.
That's a long. Oh.
Sorry.
Total time zones in the world. How many total time zones are there in the world? I don't know how Damon did this last week. Just saying questions and then repeating them over and over again. Ready?
I guess so.
I feel like I'm so off.
Probably all of us are.
You may
It's
kick
just a
your, you
guess.
may kick yourself whenever you hear it. All right, number 4. What state did sweet tea originate in? What state did sweet tea originate in? It's kind of a trick question. Whenever I looked it up, I'll have to explain that after. But yeah, what state did sweet tea originate in? Where did the original recipe come from?
Probably be way wrong.
I may do a tiebreaker and say what year was it, but
Oh, I would.
we can just leave that one. Ready for the last one? Mm-hmm. All right, the last one is chronologically, which book comes first in the Bible, Haggai or Micah? Chronologically, not chronologically, like in order when you're looking through the Bible.
So not chronologically.
Not chronologically, conically. Is that the right term? It's like which book comes
Contently, whatever. Is that
contently, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
the
like
word.
if you're looking at like the Gospels, the order would be Matthew, Mark, Luke,
Mark,
John.
Okay.
Right. So in which order, which one comes
In biblical order.
first? Yeah.
Which
in
ones did you say?
Haggai and Micah. Which one is first? Which one will you come to first?
Genesis.
Okay, so true. Technically true. I can't argue with that. All right, you guys all got your answers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so back to number 1. When was the first Cinco de Mayo? What were your answers? Start here.
1218.
Okay.
1861.
Okay.
1756.
1862. Yes, not even lying.
Dang.
Very good.
I went very far back because I was like Mayan culture.
Yeah, I mean, you would think. You would
Yeah.
think.
I did say like 1890, but I'm like, no.
Dang.
To my ancestors, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Joke's on you, I'm not Mexican.
Oh my goodness. Nice job, Vanessa. Okay.
Technically, yes.
Next question. Next question. How many stars make up the Big Dipper? We'll start with Vanessa
15.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
8.
The answer is 7. Only 7 stars make up the Big Dipper. I forget what the order is, but I think it's 3 for the handle and 4 for the.
See, I thought
You know-
I knew that, but I thought there was some stars like in between it.
You know,
Yeah, that's why I added 1 extra. I was like,
It's like that.
It's 7.
Oh yeah, it is.
You know,
So I didn't know if there was
every
like,
single-
out there? Not even a little bit. Wow.
Every question that
Talking to
my
my.
math teacher ever asked me, every math question that my teacher ever asked me, my answer was always 7. And I did not
always
go
right.
with 7.
Dang
today.
it, Landon.
I put 17.
I mean, you were 10 off. So
Kinda.
you had 7
I
in
had
the
7
answer.
in the answer.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
who got that?
So Grant got that one. He said 8.
Oh, okay.
Very good. All right, next question. How many time zones are there?
10.
7.
11.
Wrong, and wrong.
24.
24 time zones
What?
because there's 24 hours.
So who was the closest, Landon?
Wait, is that why?
Whoever had the highest time or the highest
There are
number.
24 hours.
That's
Yes.
why?
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, I mean, it kind of
Interesting.
makes sense. I didn't really think about that. I probably would have gotten this one
You said
wrong.
it might surprise you, so I went low.
Oh,
What did Landon
True.
have?
10.
true. I mean, there's
So I technically got it because I had 11.
yeah,
Yeah.
Grant technically got that one. You had the highest. Closest score gets it.
One more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming it's because there's 24 hours. Somehow
makes
I thought
sense.
there was 25, but I guess 24 is just like obviously because then you can be a day ahead, but you can't be more than a day ahead.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, very good. All right, next one. Which state did sweet tea originate in? Whoever wants to go first.
Mississippi.
Georgia.
Georgia.
All right, you guys are gonna split it because the answer was South Carolina.
Dang it.
And that borders it. So, very good.
Half a point.
Both of you get 1. Or you can take half. I don't care. Well, how many points do we have? You guys keeping track?
Yeah.
It's 1.
One.
Or half.
Lena has a half. I have
You
1.5.
1.5, and Grant has 2.
I like that.
You have 2?
Yeah, I got 2.
Okay.
Technically, unless I should only go a half point for the 11 because that was nowhere near technically close.
No, you're good.
You're the closest.
You're the closest one there.
Okay.
I mean, if Damon were here, he would have given it to you.
True.
I think.
Damon's so generous. Thanks,
What a
Damon.
guy.
It's the seat. It just makes me feel all warm
Oh
and
my
fuzzy.
gosh.
Do you have any
Okay.
extra money to give?
So that's all right. So next question.
Boston Arrow.
Next question says, which book is technically in order in the Bible? Haggai or Micah?
Haggai.
Which one's first? You said Haggai.
Hi, guy.
Hi, guy.
The answer is Micah comes
Jeez.
first.
Okay, let's look how
Wrong.
Landon spelled Haggai. Hagi.
I see no issue.
It's
Hagi.
Haggai.
That's just too much.
I just found that very funny.
I was one letter off.
H-A-G-G-I.
I put HAGAI.
Is it I or AI?
I think it's
That's actually how
AI.
you spell it.
Are we gonna do another spelling bee?
Hi, guy. Look how I spelled it.
Haggai.
So wait.
With
did
a
I-
U.
Is it Micah and then Haggai, or is more in between?
There's more in between.
Okay.
I just picked 2 random ones from the Old Testament
Okay.
and
Yeah.
put them up there. Actually,
I'm not a speller.
I picked those 2 because last week, if you guys listened, Damon's one question was, what is the last book of the Old Testament? And one of you said Haggai and one of you said Micah.
You know, I just listened to
Those are the two that I
today,
picked.
I
so-
said Habakkuk.
Oh, is that right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
My bad. I listened and then I thought about it afterwards. So, anyways, close. I had an H one.
Why are you kicking people in the back?
I think I only won by a half point.
Yeah, I think you did.
Wow.
Very good. You get the air horn
You
or
won by
whatever.
half a point.
Do you want?
Because I had 1.5.
Yeah, I did.
Technically, I didn't
looked at
say
your
you
board
had to
though, and I
take
was
a
like,
half.
oh, it's tied. And I was like, oh, wait, that's
That's a half.
Do you want to do a tiebreaker?
Do a tiebreaker
We're
because,
not
like,
tied, though.
but, like,
I said you were. You guys, you gave yourself a half point.
my 11 to 24, like, should only really be a half point because, like, that was not, like, close enough. in
Okay,
my
we're
opinion.
doing a spelling bee word for the
So, tiebreaker.
tiebreaker.
Because what? They all had to have 1.5, right?
Landon only has a half.
Oh, he only had a half? Okay, so it's between me and you.
Yeah.
We're
All right, let's go, honey. Get it? Because
My hat says honey.
Haha.
I gotta look for a good question. Dang it, I should have had this in. Oh, we'll do more Cinco de Mayo trivia.
we're not doing spelling?
Do you want to do a spelling bee?
I mean,
Spelling bee words.
Kind of racist.
whatever you want.
Bing.
What was that?
Sydney. From a previous
Made her
episode.
sound?
Wait, do it again. Bing.
Wait, that's actually hilarious. I didn't know you did that.
I did that like last week, but then we never used it.
Bing. We did it
That's
again.
funny.
Bing.
When would we ever use that?
I don't know. Maybe when a light bulb
When
clicks.
someone gets a question right.
Wait,
Yeah.
here. Wait, I'll
that.
set it up. I'll lob it up to you. Oh my gosh, guys! I just realized. Bing.
When did you say that?
I
in
hate
an
that. I don't know.
episode?
I really don't know.
You're gonna go back through all the you're gonna like binge all the episodes now.
Bing. It sounds just like me.
Because it is you.
Okay, well, I'm not doing spelling bee word because I'm really bad at picking out something that might be hard. All right.
Vanessa would pick the super
It's fine.
Okay.
I got a spelling word.
I'm kind of scared.
Let me Google it real quick.
Okay, we'll do my question first.
What is it?
I got it. No, just go.
Americans drink an average of blank alcoholic drink or beverages each on Cinco de Mayo.
Wait, what?
Americans drink an average of blank alcoholic drinks on Cinco de Mayo. Now, keep in mind, this is averaging it as if it's every single American is having drinks. Do, 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 do. Do you have your answers?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna buzz in.
Bing. Okay, go ahead, Cruz.
14.
Incorrect.
17.
You're
What
closer.
was
The
the-
answer
what was
is
the
only
answer?
3.5.
Oh wow.
But
Hey.
What was that?
Americans.
Not even right.
Okay. Americans as a total. So
Yeah.
that includes infants to old people that are gonna die.
Oh, what?
Right? That not everybody's
That's the
drinking,
dumbest question.
but it's averaging everybody. It's average. Okay, I'll give you
Do a
another one.
different one.
What was the
Because I was only
Okay,
counting like
I
legal
was counting-
drinking.
Okay.
So that's why I had 14.
Okay.
What was the question?
I was counting. Never mind.
Americans drink an average of 3.5 alcoholic beverages on Cinco de Mayo.
I think that's false.
When was this study taken?
Oh gosh,
Is it credible?
I
mean,
really
you
don't know.
only get a DUI
What?
if you're driving from a bar or something, and you try to drive home.
That should be a sound. And you
Oh
have to
my
have that
gosh.
face when you say it.
A sticker of my face comes up on the screen every time.
I got a spelling word for you.
Okay, do your spelling.
Are you doing a spelling word?
Yeah, go for it.
Mono ultra microscopic silicone volcanoconiosis.
Say that again.
Say it slowly.
Pneumano ultra
Wait, no, say
microscopic.
it slowlier.
Wait, I'm gonna play too. I need to know. I got to know.
Pneumano ultra
Wait,
microscopic.
you lost me. Hold on, I messed up.
Yeah, I already messed
2 letters in.
Oh my word. Pneumano ultra microscopic silico
Wait, you lost me at
volcanoconiosis.
Pneumano.
Ultra microscopic
Is there dashes in here?
silico volcanoconiosis.
What's
Okay.
colonizers?
You're going to have to repeat this a lot because this is a big, long word. Okay, so I got
Grant.
pneumano ultra.
Ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Volcano. Coliosis.
Pneumano ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Coniosis.
Silica. Silica what?
Guys, I'm done.
Pneumano ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
What does this word mean?
An invented long word said to mean a lung disease caused by inhaling a fine ash and sand dust. Origin 1930. A word invented probably by Everett M. Smith, president of the National Puzzles Language League, in imitation of very long medical terms.
That was very.
And you just knew this word off the top of your head?
I saw some kid off of like, I think it was like Little Big Shots with Steve Harvey.
Oh.
He was like a really
you
good
know how to
speller.
spell it.
Yeah.
Dang.
And he was just up the stage just going blah, 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 blah.
Are you ready, Sydney?
Are you
I
ready
fit it all
for
in
it?
one. All in one line.
All right. So who's going first? I guess me.
Please begin.
All right.
You can kind of see it.
All right.
All right. I'll go first. Ready?
Yeah.
N.
Wrong.
It's PN.
All right. Well, I lost.
Okay. Dennis,
Sydney.
me.
Or Sydney.
I think
I was like,
Dennis
how are
is
we
gonna
going to
get
determine this? Like,
it. Whoever messes up first. Sorry, Grant.
well, I'm out.
P N U
Eh.
E U. Can I keep going?
No, you messed
You
up.
already messed
All right, my
up.
bad. You go. Your turn.
Okay. I'm not really. Okay. PNEUNM.
Did you say N?
NMO.
No. Wrong.
Okay, can I keep going after my mistake? Wait, it goes back to Grant. Grant gets
Yeah.
keep on going from where he was.
Okay. So.
Wait, fix it.
Wait, what was I
Add
correct
the
on?
letter.
You
were good up to the
up until
U.
you.
PNEUMO.
Well,
Wait,
Grant's
you gotta wait.
turn.
You gotta wait.
Dang, I added that in.
All right. So I've added in my P.
Okay.
So PNEUMONOU
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
LTRAMICO.
Yep.
S
Yep.
Just
C
keep going,
Yes.
and then he'll tell you
O.
if you're wrong.
CO PIC
Mm-hmm.
SIL ICO VOL CANO
Mm-hmm.
K.
No.
Wait. After is it silico or silica?
Silico.
Oh, I put
All right, so I screwed up at coniosis.
Yep.
Silicovolcanosis.
Coniosis.
Coniosis. So
What the heck?
All right, Sydney, your
Vol-
turn.
Okay, hang on. So wait, I'm gonna pick up where he left off, but I already screwed it up.
Start at
Coniosis? Okay.
Volcano.
So VOLCANOCONISIS.
No.
Wrong.
Ugh.
Start
So
volcano.
So where did you left off at? EU, and you put an M there. Have you been correct throughout?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been correcting it.
No, you've been correcting it. Oh,
Yeah.
so where are you?
She's been
at?
like following along. You had most of it though, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only thing I had was wrong
Okay,
was
start at volcano then.
between the two.
VOLCANOCONIOSIS.
Correct.
I forgot
Dang, I only was off by 2 letters.
the
When I did the silico, I did CY, not SI.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I messed
gotcha.
Up. I messed
Yeah.
up right there.
wow.
Spell biodegradable.
That.
BIODGRADEABLE.
Bing. Bing.
Anyways.
Correct.
All
I guess
right.
Danessa won because she didn't mess up as quick.
Yeah, Dennis the one.
I mean, I still messed up.
But
Very good.
you at least got the first letter correct.
Yes, I did.
So, therefore,
I
you didn't mess up
yeah.
as quick.
Wait, I have another Cinco de Mayo question. This one's really funny. I just read it.
Gosh.
You don't have to answer it. We can all just
Just kinda
we can
guess.
all guess. Yeah. Some cities around the country of America, including Denver, Colorado, and Chandler, Arizona, hold an annual blank race in honor of Cinco de Mayo.
Is
Mexican.
it funny?
No. No. Yes.
Salsa.
No. Your race is something.
Taco.
No.
Border.
No. Stop. Colorado. Colorado does this.
Ice.
No.
Rocky?
Ice. No.
Something race?
No. Yeah.
Ist.
They race these things
Oh.
on Cinco de Mayo.
Ostrich?
No.
Uh,
Think Mexicans.
Tacos.
Is it an animal?
3. Yeah.
It's an animal.
Chihuahuas.
Yeah. They host annual Chihuahua races
What?
in honor of Cinco de Mayo. I thought that was funny.
I didn't know that.
Me neither.
Cool.
That's honestly very disturbing because I don't like
It's kind of funny.
chihuahuas.
You ever seen the midget versus camel races?
No.
Oh.
right, this
Too bad.
this podcast is getting off the rails.
I don't know. I saw this thing. It was like, when you get bored, bet on the midget versus camel races at 2 a.m. So, that's a pretty good idea. They give the midget like a, I don't know, 30-second head start, and they release the camel.
That's funny.
And it came down pretty close. I was getting into it there for a little bit. I was just watching it. So,
Interesting.
yeah. What time are we at on the podcast?
I think we're way over a lot.
Minute 10, because I started like a minute or two late. So I'm at 108 right now, so like a minute 10. I mean, an hour 10.
Hour 10.
Jeez.
Anyways, Lena, what do you got for the?
Oh, I guess I am part of the Ministry Minute.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the great book of Isaiah. Isaiah 6. Verse 8 says, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?' And I said, 'Here am I, send me.'" I forget when I first heard this verse, but it's fairly recent.
Sorry, what were you in?
Isaiah 6:8.
Okay.
Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Who shall I send, and who will go before us?" And I said, "Here am I, send me." I forget when I heard this voice or verse.
There's
Lord?
the voice.
Jesus.
We're gonna tell our story then later.
Oh,
Keep
yeah,
going,
you
keep
got
going,
to then.
keep going.
And so, I like I said, I forget when I heard it first, but ever since then, it just kind of stuck with me. Just because, like, it sounds like a cool verse, But the one thing that stuck out with me is me going through my own life and things, just like life choices, I'd say. Mainly with me moving to New Mexico, I've been just really thinking about it, like whether it's the right move and stuff like that. And then I saw this verse, and it just made me think, it's like, how cool is it that I'm in a position where I can just say, "Here I am, Lord, send me." It's just the place of being available to be used by God. That's what's really gotten me, like, really spoke to me the most throughout this, is just like, it's like whether he takes me there for 5 years or 5 months, I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm willing to do. And that's one thing that's like, I've talked to some people, I'm like, I'm scared, what if this is the right thing? And someone told me, they're like, if God doesn't want you to go, he's going to put up blocks and barriers so that you're not going to go. But they're like, if you can tell that things are just lining up and that there's a clear path for you to go, like, why not just go? Just be vulnerable and open to being used by God. And that's one thing that, I don't know, it's cool to me that, I don't know what I'm going to be doing down there. Obviously, I'm going to be working, but at the same time, my uncle's mission is down there, Convicted by Christ. And when I was down there with the church, I got to share my story in front of some of the guys there too. And
Real quick,
excuse me.
not to
No,
cut
you're
in,
good.
but what is Brian's? What is his mission? Just so people know.
Yeah, it's called Convicted by Christ. It is a prison ministry. So he goes in and, well, I guess he does do some prison visits, but they can sign up for his program, I guess, and if they want more or less a second chance, I guess. So once they get out, they can go through his program. They meet every Thursday, and it's like it is just for men right now. It's a men's ministry that they started, they've been down there 17 years, I think. Mm. Yeah, somewhere around there, 17 years. But I guess I should do some background on that. My aunt and uncle went down there 17 years ago, and they were originally going to do Navajo outreaches. So the Navajo population is very big down there. They live next to a reservation and stuff like that. And one thing that our Uncle Brian said, he was like, when we got down there, they noticed there weren't a lot of men. It was mostly women and children. And so they asked him, like, where's all your men at? And they said they're all either incarcerated or like just not in the picture.
And drugs.
Yeah, they're into drugs, drinking, they in jail, dead. You never know, you know. So Brian said that was something that hit him. It spoke to him. So he started a prison ministry, just kind of doing outreach to the guys in prison, starting a class. And eventually that grew to where they could open they call them halfway houses. So it gives them a place to stay. They help them get a job. And it's just kind of a way to separate the inmates, or I guess they're not inmates anymore, but separate the guys from the life that they were living in. So they're not going back to a place that everyone's drinking, everyone's smoking, doing drugs and stuff like that. It just gives them a nice place to be. And it's really successful. He said the state actually came to him and asked if they would do one for women. But he said it's just, they're not at the point where they could actually handle that right now. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday in the future they can. But yeah, I always liked kind of going down there and just seeing what he does. I mean, that kind of thing kind of resonates with me because, it's like, how do you get the kids of now to grow up better than their parents is to have better parents, So it's like if you can reach the parents to raise their kids better than what they were, you're going to see less people in jail. That's what they said. These studies find that when a father is present, the children are statistically more likely to behave and be better. Not always, but when there is a good male role model in their life, the children tend to behave better. So, but I know my brother and dad were talking. They said my brother thinks I'm going to come back within like a month, and my dad thinks I'm going to go down there and help and just like take over the mission. Which, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I always thought it'd be kind of cool to do some type of mission work. But I guess the whole point of my the verse is just, don't be scared to listen to what God has for you and is calling you to. We actually kind of talked about this at church on Sunday. They were going over Jonah and how he was called to go to Nineveh, or I think he was called to go to Nineveh. He ran away to Tarshish, something. Anyways, he ran away from what God was calling him, ended up in a fish. And and our pastor was saying about like God's gonna get done what he needs to get done. And so he's like, no matter how hard you run or how far you run, God's always going to be there kind of chasing you down a little bit. So
Yeah.
and it can be scary. Like no matter how optimistic I say I am still scared because I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? What if I don't even make it down there or something like that? What if I end up hating it down there? But at the same time, like, I'm following what I believe God is telling me to do. And that for me makes all the difference. If I actively knew what God was calling me to do and ran away from it, I feel like I'd be just more anxious about it. I feel like, because it's like I'm running away from what God has for me. This, I feel like I'm at the point where I can surrender and say, this is what God has for me, and His will be done. I have no really control over it, whether other than just to listen and say, "Here am I, send me."
Yeah.
So that's all I kind of have. Just if you feel like God is calling you somewhere, but you're scared about it or you kind of dismiss it, just pray for discernment of what God has for you. And sometimes it's not a audible, this is what I want you to do. That was one thing I struggled with, was I was praying about it and I was like, I feel like I'm not getting an answer. And so, I mean, I was asking people at the church and other people like at work, I'm like, do you think this is a smart idea? And I talked to one lady at our church. She helps at our small group for the church. And she was like, excuse me. She was
Helium.
like, yeah, it's coming back up. She said that sometimes it isn't going to be an audible yes or no or answer. Sometimes it is just God speaking through the people that you talk to. Sorry. And
Goodness.
and she was, and pretty much everyone I talked to was like, you're 18, you're young, you're single, you have nothing really holding you down. You're not really committed here. I mean, I have my family and my friends here, but it's a point of, sometimes you gotta leave to grow,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Brian did. Like, all of his family was here, and
Yeah. And I talked to him too about it, and he was like, it is hard to be that far away from your family, but you got to understand that, this is what God has for you, and this is what he has planned for you.
and like if God like calls you to something, he will equip you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if you don't really feel like you're being called, like if you are being called, like he will equip you for it.
Oh, yeah. One thing I heard or saw was like, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And it's like, you might not think you're a great speaker. Maybe you can't speak in front of people, neither could Moses. Moses had a really bad stutter, so he tried to make, what was his name?
Shem. I can't remember which was it. One of his sons.
That was Noah.
Oh,
Noah
What
had
am I
Ham and
thinking?
Shem. Moses made his brother, I think. Or-
it was definitely one of his. Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, he had Aaron go to Pharaoh and speak, but God was like, I didn't call Aaron to go talk to Pharaoh. I called you, Moses. He goes, but Lord, I have a stutter. I can't speak well.
Right.
But God still used him. He qualified him when he called him.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you might not be a great speaker. Maybe you can't speak in public. But if that's what you feel, if that's what God is calling you to, he will equip you with the ability to.
Yeah.
If you can just rely on him and trust in him. Like our Uncle Brian says that when he first went down there, one person asked him to speak in front of a whole prison in Texas, I think. And he was like, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a speaker. I can't do this. So he tried to get out of it, but eventually he went and did it. And he goes, I'm not a speaker, but something that he said like made an impact. Like inmates were giving their lives to Christ then. And so he's like, it's just having faith in God that, it's not your own skills or abilities. It's all through
How
what God
he
is
can
using.
use you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the crazy part is like when they do come back to PA, like he is preaching. He is like being in front of different crowds.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't ever think he would do that. That's why I say like never say like I would never do that, because
Yeah.
you never know what God can call you to. And like there's just a lot of things that I said, like I never said like, oh, I would never do that, but there are things that I didn't think I would be doing now that I am doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's
Because
cool
of
about
God.
mission
Right.
trips, I find, is like you go on mission trips with people you might not know very well, or you go like our Antrim's youth group takes a trip. They call it Tim's. It's up to East Waterford.
CRC.
PA. Yeah. And we do like more or less building construction projects, I'd say. And it's like some of those kids have never picked up a paintbrush, but they get to paint a building for the first time. And there are leaders that are more or less skilled in that trade. Like I helped build a porch this summer, or a deck. And that's something I've never done. Like I've seen it done, but I've never actually helped with it. But our leaders used to be construction workers, and they made houses. So just learning off of their skills, I never thought I would be able to build a deck or do stuff like that. But now having that experience, I wouldn't say I could build a deck myself, but I know more than what I did. And it's just even just seeing the other kids, like they've never run a power saw or anything, like circular saw. They're in there, they teach them how to do it safely and in not a controlled environment, but they're actually cutting pieces to length that are going to be used, not just cut this scrap piece of wood. You know? So it like puts a little bit of pressure on them, but not as much as like if it's their job. You know what I'm saying? So like just being open and available to try new things is such a great mindset to have if you want to really challenge yourself and see what God can use you for. So
Yeah.
like Seth and Sydney, they can draw snakes in houses.
Well, while you were talking, I was thinking about what Tanner had said about how. Did you listen? You weren't here for Tanner's.
No, I haven't, but I haven't even listened to it. I need to.
You got to listen to it because he spoke about listening to God and being obedient to what He calls you to. Because he talks about his like personal, like just back and forth talking to God of saying like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to. You can't make me. And God's like, okay, well. Let's see who wins, and it's just a matter of He's going to use you in one way or another. Something else that Tanner had said, which he's going to be on again next week. So hopefully you guys got your questions in, because today when this comes out, is the day that we're recording with him. But anyways, something else he had talked about was God's perfect will versus His permissive will. So we have the ability to choose. I mean, obviously you can say, no, God, I don't want to do that. And He's not going to say, well, I guess then all these inmates aren't going to hear the word of God. He's going to have another way for it to get done, but it could be you, and you could make it easy for Him. Or you could find yourself like 20 years down the road going, I should have done this back when I was 18.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a matter of if He calls you to it now, why would you put it off? Why are you going to wait? So definitely go back and listen to Tanner's episode. I think you're going to really like it.
Before I'm on with him, I think I better get some context on it.
Listen up.
God, I have heard that it's like, how much do you think of yourself to think you can ruin God's plan? So it's like, that is a point that just because you don't want to doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But, God wants to, it really is a blessing if you look at it, God being able to use you to spread the word to thousands of people, maybe spread the word to one person. Yeah. No matter how big or small, take it as a blessing, God saying that, maybe you don't feel qualified, but I want you to do this. I have this in store for you. And that in itself is just a blessing. You
saying about kind of discerning your calling or whatever? So I'm actually reading a book right now. Yeah, no, I'm reading a book. Haven't done that in a long time, since like middle school. But in the discipleship group I'm in with a couple guys from church, in our study, in like this last 4-week block, we have to read a book that correlates with it, and it's called Find Your Place. The title is Find Your Place, Locating Your Calling Through Your Gifts, Passions, and Story. And it's about helping followers of Jesus locate 3 signals that will help people discern their personal calling, their gifts, their passions, and their story, and help them take meaningful next steps to engage in that calling. See, it's talked about in that book that, like, you might like, let me think of an example here. Like, you might like construction, for example, but what you're doing in it might not be your true passion. Maybe you're better off being like a teacher in construction or something of that nature instead of being like a laborer. Or you just might not be in the right thing at all. So there's a lot of variables to that. So if you guys are kind of, I guess, struggling with that, kind of trying to figure out your calling or whatever, I'd recommend picking up this book and reading it, because then they also have this assessment that ties to it. It's called Take Your GPS Assessment, Your Gifts, Passions, and Stories Assessment. And it just asks you a bunch of questions
That's
to
what
kind
that
of...
stands for.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just kind of helps for you to kind of see what maybe your gifts and passions are. And maybe, you have something that you don't realize you have and you're kind of just pushing it off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of might bring it to light. So, yeah, if you're interested in that book, check it out. It's called Find Your Place. You can find it on Amazon or wherever else you could probably buy a book.
I'll link it right
Here.
in the description.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me of one thing. The lady that spoke at the porch the other week.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. One thing she said was she was struggling with getting a job and like stuff like that. And the one thing that stuck out to me was when she had a guy pray for her, and he said, God can see you in your classroom because she wanted to be a teacher. And that was something it kind of stuck out to me because it's like, God has a plan for us. God has a purpose for us. And if we're obedient to him, it's like the Bible says I have plans to prosper you, not forsake you. Right. And the things that God will give us if we're obedient is like more immense than we can imagine. And that's one thing that kind of I hold on to. It's like, I might not have it now, which patience is a rough thing. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, it's like, you just got to hold on to God has a plan for me that's going to be something greater than I can imagine.
Yeah.
And it's not easy by any means, just thinking that over and over and not really seeing anything. But when you get to that point that you can look back and say, man, I'm glad I waited. That's when that it was worth it.
Yeah. One last thing to kind of wrap us up, not to cut us off, this is really good, but kind of pull it all together is Psalms 37:4, which you kind of reminded me. I was reminded of this by what you just said. The second part of it, I'll read the first part later. The second part of it says, and he will give you the desires of your hearts. But that's going to take something for us to do as well. He's not just going to do that just because he says he's going to. The first part of it says to take delight in the Lord and to be thankful and grateful for everything he has given you. Because if you can't be grateful and you can't be joyful in the things that you have, and if you're sitting in like bitterness and just like he's not, like, this isn't it, I'm not getting what I want, you can't have what's next. So I feel like I always go back to that whenever I'm feeling like he's kind of forgotten, but he won't. All you have to do is just take care of the things you have. My mom always said you can't be blessed if you don't take care of the things you have. So
yeah,
that's why I decorated my rental.
And with that verse, it's also like, you hear that, it's like, oh, desire my heart, I desire $1 million. But no, when you align yourself with Christ,
things that align with his will,
and the things that align with your will, your desires are going to change when you actually understand who God is and have an actual relationship with him. You're not going to desire all that money. You're going to desire joy. You're going to desire a genuine relationship with him. And that's the stuff God's like, absolutely.
Sure.
I love you. I want to give that to you.
Sure.
But it's not just,
it's not a greedy mindset.
2025 Ram 3500 Cummins.
Don't buy a new car. Don't buy new cars. Just don't do it.
But you get to the point where it's like, I want a relationship with God. I want a fruitful relationship. I want a family. I want to glorify you, God. And that's when, your desires will change. So,
absolutely.
which is a good thing.
Wow. Yeah. That was great, Landon. Thank you so much.
That was all a whim because I kind of forgot about it this morning.
No, it was very good. Kind of give us a little bit of a cameo into next week, into what Tanner's got for us. If you have any last minute questions and you see this before like 5 o'clock on Monday, you still have a chance to send us your questions.
You can still DM, comment them, whatever.
Yes. Or personally reach out to him because I don't know if there's any way to do that. Just find him on social media or do whatever. We put his full name in the title anyways. So there's a way. This is a mugshot picture of what he might look like. But thanks, Landon. All right. Anything else? Oh, we were going to tell our story.
Yeah.
Never mind. We can tell it later.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
All right.
bye.
That's all.
Peace.